there. Janelle. Hi, everybody.
Well, hey, Marnie, what are you doing here today?
Well, Josh is gone, and I like to really jump into the front of the camera whenever Josh is away. It's my favorite thing to break all the rules when he's gone. So, it was fun. It's fun to hang out with you. So here we are.
Yes, and it's been a very, very busy week, but it's been worth all of the time and effort this week. So
okay, so tell us some good stories, because I think you've got good news to tell and more good news to tell.
we do. And when do we get to say two good things in one Friday? But we do. So House Bill 1447, which was that cryptocurrency fraud ATM bill, that passed on the House floor by 87-3 votes. So that was really, really significant. This is a new bill that will protect consumers from really a new type of scam that criminals are using to scam you out of your money. So this was a huge win. We're one of several states considering this legislation during this session. So.
Yeah, and I know you and Josh were down there just working it on both of these bills that we have to talk about today. So that hard work has paid off. Why don't you give us the second piece of good news?
The second piece was something that we got bad news about on Tuesday night. So House Appropriations gave the insulin cap bill, which is House Bill 1114, a do not pass. So in code words, that means they didn't give a favorable vote, right? They didn't agree with the policy. And so I immediately started rallying the troops to say this is not good. So when votes come out of committee negatively like that, you as if it's important to you, we really had to start talking to legislators about why this bill was important despite having a bad vote. And so Josh and I spent just hours and hours at the legislature the last 2 days, put in thousands of steps and talked to so many people. And we are super excited to say that we were able to flip the vote, which, doesn't happen very often. So when you flip it, you mean that you got the House to vote the opposite way that the committee did. And it was significant. So 59-7. So remember, 1114 is the insulin cap bill. So it caps the out-of-pocket expenses at $25 for insulin. And it does expand that coverage to the private insurance market. This was a difficult issue for legislators to think about, but we really told them why this was so important to North Dakotans. And this is a really significant win.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And Janelle, can you explain a little bit why people would object? Because it feels really, it's just, we had so many heart-wrenching stories about affording insulin, and there was, people come forward, and we want to thank everybody who reached out to legislators too. That's a big part of why we're able to make strides in these areas. But what was an objection to this? It would be hard to object, it seems to me.
Honestly, yeah, you would think it would be, but they're often weighing the cost of premiums, of health insurance premiums, and covering things like insulin. And this is really just capping that insulin cost. And so legislators really struggle with, the language, whether or not we're mandating insurance companies to cover something. They really feel like there should be some push-pull with the market, and that the market sometimes, helps costs go down. But what we told them that it will allow coverage to remain for state employees or people on the public employee plan, but it also expands it to just the remaining people in North Dakota that don't have access to this cap, either through the federal level. So it was a small part of the population, but it can make significant impacts. And I think that's what ultimately sold legislators, is that if you cap that out-of-pocket expense, folks don't have to think about rationing their insulin or making difficult decisions about not filling it that month. And these are life or death decisions for many folks that rely on insulin. And so I think those personal stories, and again, you mentioned it, the legislators told Josh and I over and over again, we've heard a lot about this bill. They were getting emails, phone calls, text messages. People were on the floor that day, really encouraging them that yes, it was going to be a hard vote, but it was an important vote, and it really would save the lives of so many people in North Dakota.
Well, thanks for explaining that. I like people to see the inside, what you're doing on the floor when you talk about these things, because I know that's what you spend all day doing, is telling legislators just those things. Here's your objection, but here's why this is so important, and bringing them over. So hooray for them. And thanks to our members who reached out, and the hard work, as you said, was well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got coming up, Janelle? We've got these 2 big wins. Are you just going to rest on your laurels? Or are you just going to kick back? You got a little tropical vacation plan? What's your plan?
Tropical does sound nice, although I think it's supposed to be tropical in Bismarck on Monday. I think it's supposed to be 50 degrees. So by our standards, right, tropical 50 in February is very nice. But no, we've got 5 days until crossover, Marnie. So what crossover means is that any bill that started in the House has to be either voted on up or down and moved over to the Senate, and vice versa for the Senate. So it's really the halfway point. So we're 5 days from that, but really the goal of the legislature is to be done by Wednesday, the 26th of February. So it gives them a couple extra days off, because if you look around the Capitol, people are tired. It's been a long first half of the session, and there's been some very critical conversations, but everyone's holding out. And next week, really, it's the budget bills that are left to be voted on in committee and on the House floor. And the one we're watching in particular is House Bill 1012, which is the Department of Health and Human Services budget. That's where there's some housing funding in there. There's all the money related to caregiving and respite and helping you age in place, making sure you have services in your community, in your home, if you choose to live there. So this is a significant budget that helps so many people stay where they want to be as they grow older. And the one we're watching in particular is there's some housing money that's in the health department budget that would allow folks to do some rehab to their homes. I know we've talked a lot in other forums across the state talking about, if you want to stay in your community, often you don't have the resources to make those modifications to make your home more age friendly. And there is some money in that budget that would allow some of that rehab that really helps people live in those communities longer and find the services in their homes. So we're looking for that budget to come out, but we're on the home stretch to the halfway point. And I guess that could be tropical for anyone, even if it is just a couple of days away from the Capitol building. So.
Well, I know that the record number of bills isn't just something that the legislators carry. It's all those folks at the Capitol supporting them too. And so all those staff members, that great cafeteria you talk about, everybody is working so hard over there. So it's fun to hear about that as we go through it. And we really just have one action that we want for people to take at this moment, right?
Yeah, we do. Like I said, House Bill 1114, which was the insulin cap bill, that was a tough bill for a lot of legislators to wrestle with and make decisions on. So if you want to send a note to your legislator thanking them for their vote on House Bill 1114, we've got a link to the legislative page. You can go up and, it's actually kind of fun, Marty. It's like you don't even have to be there. The legislature has a really fantastic website. So you go to ndleg.gov. And you put in the year and the bill number you're looking for. So type in 1114, and it is going to give you the entire history of that bill. You can go back and watch the committee hearing. You can watch the floor discussion. You can see how the vote. So it's really a great way to see how the process works in the comfort of your own home. So go check that out, see how your legislator voted, and send them a quick note this weekend, thanking them for their vote on helping make insulin more affordable for folks.
All right. Well, Janelle, now let's go into our well-deserved weekend here. And we want to thank everybody for listening and thank everyone for all the work they did. And that's it for this All Things Advocacy. We are